All right. Philip here from Toon Tactics TV, giving you my pre-match preview for the Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspurs at White Hart Lane game, which is going to be this Sunday. As you can see, I got the lineups up. This is going to be a very, very interesting and tight encounter. Now, coming into this game, both teams have come on the back of a loss, and so are going to be looking to rectify that. Um, Tottenham's form obviously has been somewhat worse compared to Newcastle's. They obviously, in the last 5 games, have lost 4 of those games and drew. The only game they drew was with Man City, which I watched. It was a very, very close encounter. Now, comparing the teams head to head, obviously Tottenham are fifth, Newcastle are seventh. They've both won 8 games each. Tottenham have drawn 3, hence why they're a point ahead, and Newcastle have drawn 2. They've lost 1 less than Newcastle United. They've lost 4, and Newcastle have lost 5. So really tight in that regards. In terms of goals per match, Tottenham are 1.93, which is really, really high. Newcastle just a little bit better on 2.13. We've been scoring quite freely. Then some people might say the Sheffield United game where we won 8-0 skews things a little bit. But either way, both teams are high-scoring teams. Goals conceded, Tottenham are a little bit higher again at 1.47 per match. Newcastle at 1.13. And Newcastle United have kept 6 clean sheets, whereas Tottenham have kept 4. So one of the key points to mention, which I think would be good for this analysis, would be that obviously Tottenham have kept one of the highest average possessions, ball possessions in the league at 60.4%, I believe, which is really, really good. So it's really, really tight between the teams. Tottenham especially are desperate to get back into form and have been struggling. I think they hold a record now for going a goal up and then either losing the games or drawing the games, and so that's not a record that they want, and it's an interesting record to have. Newcastle United obviously had a disappointing 3-0 loss to Everton at Goodison Park. My predictions were that Newcastle were going to win 3-0, and it happened to be that we lost 3-0. And you guys would have seen my post-match analysis to that game as well. So going to this game, these are the lineups. Tottenham is there's a number of different news in terms of who's fit and who's available for Tottenham. I've given the best case scenario for Tottenham because apparently Son may be injured and they may have to start with Richarlison through the centre and Brennan Johnson on the left wing, which is not something that they would want. That would really, really stunt their attack going forward. However, I've gone with Son. I'm saying that he's going to pull through with Lo Celso behind him, Richarlison on the left, Kulusevski on the right, and Sarr and Bissouma in a pivot in the centres. I think Tottenham play 4-3-2-1. Obviously, Dogi on the left, Porro on the right, Romero and Ben Davies in the centre-back positions, and Vicario in defence. For Newcastle United, you can choose our squad with your eyes closed. Everybody in the Premier League knows who we would have chosen for the past 3 or 4, 5 games because our injuries have been absolutely awful. But for the sake of the video, Isak will be through the centre. Almiron on the left. Almiron on the right, Gordon on the left, Joe Linton left midfield, Bruno Gomes obviously as our deep line playmaker and defensive mid, Lewis Smiley on the right mid, Shaw and Lascelles are centre backs, Trippier on the right back, and Tino Livramento on the left back. Now, where is this game going to be won and where is this game going to be lost? Both teams are high pressing teams, pressure teams, front foot teams. but something's going to have to give. This is obviously at White Hart Lane, so Tottenham are going to have that extra incentive going forward. I've watched their games against Villa. I've watched their games against Wolves. I've watched their games against Man City. And especially against Wolves and against Villa, they really blew the competition away in terms of how they start. They start really, really fast. Really good play. Their pattern of play is really excellent. And teams have to be ready. And what Tottenham do really, really well, not too dissimilar to Dortmund in my view. Obviously, they've got a different style, but what they do really, really well is how they get their wing backs to support their midfield. So as we're looking at this here, we're thinking it's going to be Bissouma, Sarr, and Lo Celso against Joelinton, Gomes, and Miley. But no, what happens is that their fullbacks, Udogie and Porro, push up. So they either push up and do the overlaps on the right and left side of the pitch, or they introvert and go into the midfield, flooding the midfield, and so you got 5 versus 3 in that isolated spot within the midfield. So Newcastle have to really, 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 really guard against that, and teams have so far failed to do so. Hence why Tottenham have been scoring relatively freely. Obviously, Son is Tottenham's top scorer. So what Newcastle would have to do, in my point of view, is in order to stop that, our centre backs would have to push up, and they have to do better than what they did at Dortmund. But really, actually, what the beginning of that is that Isak, Gordon, and Almiron have to show a lot more energy and pressing up front, and they have to block the channels, because as Romero and Davies go up, they will look to pass in through the channels and either spread it wide or spread it through the middle, as depending on how Tottenham choose to attack. And that's what gives Tottenham the initiative and how they press forward. So Gordon, Isak, and Almiron have to show a lot more energy than they did against Everton. They block the passing channels for the centre backs, put them under pressure, force Sarr and Bissouma to come back and to support more the centre backs, allowing our midfield to push up with Joelinton, Gomes, and Miley pushing up on Son, Lo Celso, and others. It is vital that we do that, and then we put in our main assister, Kieran Trippier, into play on that right side. Udogie, who himself likes to get forward, can get caught napping as well, and we can start swinging crosses in and things of that nature. Kulusevski on the other side. Obviously, I've heard Tottenham fans really being although he's a good winger, I like him. To some, he's a lot more. He's too predictable. He likes to cut in. That's what everybody knows he likes to do. And him against Livramento is going to be an interesting matchup. If Livramento works him out pretty quick, it could be a long day for him. And Livramento, Joelinton, and Gordon could take on Kulusevski and Porro, and they could be exploited on that side. So it's going to be a game where the teams have to grab their initiative. Isak, Almiron, and Gordon are going to be vital if we're going to win this game. And they have to work hard, they have to press, and they have to lead our charge going forward. Tottenham will have the majority of the ball, and we will have to stay compact in our midfield once they do get through, once they start flooding us, and we have to be able to push up with our defense, and they have to be proactive in stopping their midfield, their wingers coming through. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. We're just about better defensively than Tottenham. I back Newcastle United to win this game 2-1. But let me know what you guys think. Send in your views, your opinions. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Take care, and God bless, folks.